Back on the Rob Dibble Show at Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. One of our favorite people does the play-by-play here. Also, University of Hartford. You do different sports over there, don't you? Do baseball and basketball, or just basketball?
Yeah, well, mostly basketball, but I
but
try to
do
work
whatever they ask you.
Whatever they ask.
Jeff Dooley joins us here on the set. So I'm just reading some of the numbers right here. So you guys were hot, then you got cold. Such is the life of the minor leagues. I mean, it's hard because guys are moving around. You just called up a couple of other prospects. Some guys get moved up to AAA. Some guys go to the major leagues. I kind of describe that for people. They don't understand that this is not where guys want to end up. They want to end up in the major league.
Yeah, except for maybe if you're in low A, your goal is to get to Hartford that season. But
in the same season.
Yeah, exactly. But certainly the guys that start here, we hope that they get a chance to finish in the big leagues. And as you guys very well know, we have 2 Yardgoats from this year's team, lefty pitcher Evan Justice, who actually is from Richmond, who are playing tonight. He got called up last weekend and has pitched a couple of games for the Rockies. And Hunter Goodman, who was just one of the all-time great guys, was with us towards the end of last year and all of this season, set the single-season home run and RBI record, goes to AAA, and you can make an argument that he was actually even better in AAA. His numbers were they were video game numbers, guys. He goes up to the big leagues. His debut, he has 2 hits, wins the game against the Orioles, the first-place Orioles, no less, and then had a couple of hits in his second game against the Braves, and then had a triple last night. So it has been quite the week for former GOAT Hunter Goodman. But, it's been a crazy week. The team last weekend, they were home. We're actually occupying that final playoff spot. They go to Somerset against the Yankees affiliate, lose 5 out of 6, and now they're suddenly in 5th place. So it's just crazy how much can happen in a week.
All right, so we tell you people all the time about the big leaguers that are here, and we are not lying to you when we tell you the timeline of when they're going to. We were trying to tell them last year, Duels, this is Ezekiel Tovar.
Yeah.
Get him while you can because he's going to be off and running. Boy, did he make us look smart. He's playing great. I just saw this thing on MLB Network just talking for about a half an hour on the guy. And, he's kind of a best-kept secret, I think, in the Major League Baseball, but he was here for a hot minute. Now you've got a new one. All right, I'm probably mispronouncing it. Let me try. Adele Amador?
Adael Amador.
Adael. That's a tough. That's a 5-letter,
every vowel in his name.
Yeah.
Adael.
Yeah. Now tell me about Amador. Compare him to Tovar. Compare him to Brendan Roberts. Compare him to those people that we have told people you got to get to the ballpark to see this guy because he might not be here for very long.
Yeah, and I'll go with what our hitting coach said, that he's going to have a chance to be really special, like he said with Tovar last year. I've seen him bend 3 games. We saw him once in Somerset, and he made his debut. The last 2 games, actually, in Somerset, and then his debut here last night. But
leading off tonight?
Yeah, he's leading off tonight. He checks a lot of the boxes. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's really good defensively and go get it. He's got a good arm. And he can hit. He can really hit the baseball. I've liked his patience at the plate. A lot of the younger kids that come up, and he's only 20 years old. Think about 20 years old in the future he will have. But a lot of the kids that come up, they have the tendency to be very aggressive and chase pitches, especially out of the strike zone. But he's shown some patience. Came up with a big walk last night and then really got the offense going. The team was getting shut out in the 6th inning, and he hit a home run and really pumped some life into the lineup. And the Goats came back and won that game on a Jordan Beck walk-off hit, another number 1 pick that's with us, and he came through. But Amador is certainly going to be someone that you want to see because he's got that special talent. People have been asking me since April if I thought he would get here at some point this season. I thought no. Kid was 19 years old when this season began in April. But again, if the players force the organization's hand, and once you start dominating a level, like Hunter Goodman, we got to move him to AAA. We got to move him out of the big leagues. And I've always said, listen, sometimes I know the big leagues are a different beast, but ride that hot hand. Rob will tell you, the pitchers haven't seen Hunter Goodman. At some point, they're going to figure him out. But listen, if it's coming in like a beach ball, why not ride that hot hand right now? The Rockies are struggling. Let's see what you got with this kid.
Right. Well, that's what I said about the Yankees in the big leagues. I mean, why not bring up the hotter kids in the minor leagues? Sit some of these guys you're going to have to pay for the next couple of years anyway. You can't move them, and see what you could do. And then here's the thing. We always felt like, you know what, now we're auditioning for other teams. So for this last month, you're auditioning some of your best prospects to maybe work in a trade to get your big league club better. So it's the same thing even here in the minor leagues. There's teams right now, and explain this, there's other organizations scouting the Yardgoats talent knowing that the Rockies might have to make some trades.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's a great point. I mean, the guys might feel that maybe your position is taken. I mean, how would you like to be a shortstop in the Rockies organization?
I was going to
right?
talk to you about that.
And listen, Julio Carreras, his best friend is Tovar. They talk every day. He's the Yardgoat shortstop, but he's rooting for him, and they talk about hitting, and they talk about life. And listen, there are 29 other teams out there. Julio Carreras is going to play Major League Baseball, if not next year, the year after. Like, if you're that good, they'll find room or they move you in a trade. So there are 30 teams that you can play for, and sometimes it's an audition for somebody else. When Vodnik got traded from the Braves to the Rockies, he said, Jeff, this was like a blessing for me. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere in Atlanta. I come here. You know, he throws 102 miles an hour. That opens a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
He pitched 4 games for us, and Blaine Beatty, the Goats pitching coach, said, Jeff, he's not going to be here very long. Next thing you know, they moved him to AAA, and I'm sure he'll, if not get up this year, he'll be up there next year because of his arm. But, you know, you just need to keep the process going in the right direction, and it doesn't matter who you play for as long as you make a team at some point.
2 weeks before I got called up with the Reds, my pitching coach was Wayne Garland. And he had pitched in the big leagues with the Orioles, one of the first multi-million-dollar pitchers in the big leagues. And he walked up to me because I had been 4 years with the Reds. He said, listen, there's teams right now that want to trade for you. The Phillies, for instance, we're going to package me in a deal for Mike Schmidt.
Wow.
Future Hall of Famer. But being told that communication helped me to deal with why am I not moving? Other guys are getting called up to the big leagues before me. They didn't want to put me in the big leagues. So that's another thing that these guys don't understand, that there's not politics, but there's things going on behind the scenes. So you could be hot in AA, you could be hot in AAA. It's only a matter of time. You could even be in another organization or even be in the big leagues right from AA in a trade.
Yeah, and you see so many guys that just jump around from team to team, and so many guys that have come through this league. I remember Mike Yastrzemski. I mean, we saw him, and I said, I'm not going to pretend to be a scout, but, like, what am I missing? The guy's absolutely killing the ball. He's with Baltimore. They let him go. He signs with San Francisco, and, like, the rest is history.
Exactly.
I mean, he's been a great player for the Giants, and I think he spent 3 years in the Eastern League playing at this ballpark. And, it's just one of those things where if you just keep the process going and you stay positive and you can, kind of grind through that minor league work detail, you got a shot.
Jeff Dooley, voice of the Yardgoats. You can hear him on our sister station, 1410 AM, 100.9 FM, WPOP, along with Dan Lavallo. You guys have the call all season long. Give our Yankees fans a little something to look forward to. Now, Trenton Thunder, a.k.a. Somerset, in the last 3 or 4 years, I feel like they've dominated the Eastern League.
Yeah.
Why hasn't their team used any of those players?
I tell you what, they've got this kid Thorpe that's there now, one of the top pitching prospects. We saw him the other day, and I was talking to the Somerset folks that had Randy Vasquez when he was in Somerset a couple of years, actually last year.
Okay.
And he said it's not even close. Thorpe is a lot better than Vasquez right now. So, maybe you don't want to start the clock. Maybe you don't want to bring him up. I'm always kind of like Rob was saying. I agree with you guys. I would bring him up and just let him get used to it because let's see what you got. Let him experience what it's like to pitch in New York because we know it's a different beast. So he's one guy that I like a lot. We saw Jason Dominguez played here earlier in the season, their number one guy.
What did you think when you saw him?
I liked him a lot. He was very good at the AA ranks and a young kid, He moved. We didn't see him last week. They just called him up to AAA, so we did not see him last week at all. So he's in AAA now, so he's a step away. That being said, they replaced him with their new number one prospect, Jones, that just came up from Mayball, a college kid who a couple of our Yardgoat staff like a lot. They said this kid is going to, 6'4" left-handed hitter, center fielder, checks a lot of the boxes. Now, we saw him just in 2 games because he came up right at the end, but he was really, really good. So they definitely got some guy.
Tyler Hardman, 26 home runs, 56 driven in.
Yeah, I think he just went up to AAA.
He went up too?
Yeah, he went up too.
Well, let me ask you, is AAA still the last step to the big leagues, or are we still sticking some really top prospects in AA?
No, AA is more of the prospects. AAA is more of a I think in a perfect world, they'd love to get you at every single level. So, like, Hunter was in AAA for maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks.
Paying your dues.
I mean, right. He was here on August 8th. He was playing at this ballpark, or early August. And now he's in the big leagues, like later in the month. So, it was really a breeze for him at AAA. And it could be the same for Dominguez and guys like that, depending on what the Yankees want to do. But they definitely have some – I've always been impressed with their pitching, and I think they've got some position guys as well.
And they still got some young ones. Man, that Spencer Jones is just 22.
Yeah,
he's 22.
Right, really good.
You, Adam Giardino, our other minor league friends, taught us a couple of years ago, or at least they were trying to teach us, listen, you're going to like the changes. You're going to like the pitch clock. You're going to like the faster games. You're going to like the bigger bases. I don't know what you're going to think about the throw into first thing situation. We were adamantly in April against a lot of this, and we were wondering how it was going to go. And we were kind of on the players' side of thinking a lot of this stuff is ridiculous, especially some of the pitch clock fouls at the end of games and to give a run at the end of game. Like, man, that's a bad taste in the mouth. Over time, I'll tell you what, we've all come around, and I like the speed of the game.
Yeah.
Pitch clock doesn't bother me at all. It's a new gamesmanship that's been created between the batter and the pitcher. I have to say, man, I kind of like the changes that baseball's done.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think it's, what they hoped it would be. And we saw a little bit last year, but we really saw it the last couple of years, but it was really strictly enforced last year. Last year, they were starting to see violations. This year, right off the bat, they were just really trying to lock down on making sure that everybody understood the rules. I do know with that Red Sox game that ended in spring training.
That's the one.
And the guy that struck out was in the minor leagues last year. And he said, listen, I've done the pitch clock the last 4 or 5 years, even last year in AAA. It was a lot quicker down there. So it could have been something that it was just an operational thing. And thank God that happened in a spring training game, not a major league game. But, no, I do like the rules. I mean, how great is it that he can – and I love baseball. I've loved baseball as much as anybody. But how great is it you can see a game in 2.5 hours at the minor league level? And I know they're moving the big league games as well.
Yeah. Oh, no, they're averaged out to 236 so far this year. I wanted to ask you about that as well. Some of the things that the bigger bases don't bother me. The pitch counts, the clock doesn't bother me at all. One thing that doesn't bother me is the throwing over. I mean, guys, and I'm not saying this from the pitcher standpoint, the runners are not utilizing this more.
I agree.
Acuna just hit 60 stolen bases with 30 games to go.
Right.
Ricky Henderson would have had 180 stolen bases a year.
Yeah, it would have been a joke for Ricky.
Exactly. So my point is, why are these, some of these changes are supposed to make the averages go up and make more runs scored and more action in these games. That's what I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing it to the point where it's like these guys are using it to help their games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, with the averages and that stuff. I mean, the way they're changing the way guys hit, and everyone's looking for that 3-run home run and that, and obviously the stolen bases and that. So I'm not really sure about that. But I think in terms of the interest in moving the game and the end result obviously is quicker games. But I think the whole motive behind the pitch clock is to speed up the action between the pitchers. Just make sure that we're not having this downtime with guys stepping out of the box, in an early April game. Red Sox, Yankees going 4 hours.
Can guys question balls and strikes down here like one time? You can't do that yet.
Can't do that here. Yeah.
I do like that, though.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like
yes,
that.
Because the hitter, all he's got to do is touch his hat. It's got to go immediately to the guy.
Really?
Yeah,
That's how
he just taps his hat, goes back to the guy, and it's either a ball or strike.
Yeah. No, that's in
you
AAA.
get a challenge.
Yeah.
So that's in AAA.
Yeah, it's in AAA.
You're going to see that in the big leagues.
I think so, too.
Dude,
I
I've
think
seen
that's
some
gonna
bad
make
umpiring
so
lately,
people
not
mad.
just in the big leagues.
Little League World
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 Series.
Series, big strike zone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I coached those lower levels from like 12 to 17, and I'm like, wow. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing them with my game, my pitchers.
Yeah, because you want it to go.
Yeah, I wanted
Right.
to go, but I'm like, damn.
Now, do you teach the kids you want to be aggressive and swing the bat?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate kids taking that
Right.
first pitch strike. This is because from my standpoint, because I'm a numbers guy, 0-2 count in the big leagues, 0-60 average. Major league level. So for my pitchers, I'm like, strike 1, strike 2, get ahead. And my hitters now, I'm teaching the pitchers, all of you, because all of my kids pitch, because when we go to tournaments, you might play 5 games in 3 days. Everybody's got to throw at least an inning sometimes. But I'm like, these guys, listen, first pitch strike, 7 out of 10 times you're getting out. 0-2 count, even at the lowest level, 9 out of 10 times you're getting a strikeout.
It's unreal.
So it's unreal.
Yeah.
Now 2-0 at the big league level, batting average is 400. So where do you want to be as a pitcher? But as a hitter, everybody's trying to get ahead.
Yeah.
And very few guys at like 14U, 15U can just lob that curveball across for a strike. I mean, so probably 7 out of 10 times you're going to get a fastball jump all over it, because most of these kids and here's the thing too, I don't love my 14, 15U, 16U teams playing wood bat. We'll do tournaments.
Okay.
But my 17U, last couple of years we've been playing all wood bat games, and they can't swing wood bats.
It is different, isn't it?
It is
Yeah,
so different,
yeah.
and you can attest to this.
Yeah, no, it is
Sticking,
definitely.
and they have drop 3, drop 5,
Right.
meaning it could be 30 and it's a 25-ounce bat, whatever. It's fine. But for me, it's more about being able to hit.
Right.
I want you to understand, listen, I'm going the other way. I can be little bit later and stuff like that. With a wood bat, man, the ball's already by you.
Yeah. I'm just amazed at all the technology stuff like our guys have in the video room. They'll go
I
down
just
there.
went
Well,
over
there
it.
you see that
Yeah.
if you actually get to a Goats game early, I mean, that's one of the things the Rockies want. That last ball, 97 miles an hour, the exit velo. I mean, they want to track everything now. So they have that up on the video board so everyone can see
We were talking
it,
about
what they're
this, though.
hitting.
I actually think it's a good thing. I like the Rapsodo machine
Yep.
and being able to, shape people's pitches but to understand that when your release point is from the same spot, you're going to be more consistent. And if you're throwing strikes, what you and I were just talking about your son off the air, the more consistent you are at the lower levels, the better habits you get into, the better results you're going to see at the higher levels. And I've got some kids that are in high school that'll come back and face my 14U team, and even my 14U players recognize when they're dropping down on breaking balls. So it's a common problem with your best pitchers. It's not just about velo.
Sure.
It's more about throwing strikes, but consistently from the same release point.
Yeah. And, they've got everything now. The different counts you talked about. All right, this guy throws mostly 1-1 sliders, and he's
Right.
going to come across with a breaking pitch, and then second time through. They can break it down by the game, but a lot of the video stuff, it's amazing to me. And, the other guys have it, too, in the other
Exactly,
dugout,
yeah.
right? A lot of guys. Rob, I'm seeing for the first time guys at the they've got iPads in the dugout now, and there's coaches not even watching the game, looking at the other stuff, looking at the measurements, and guys going in and seeing it. It is all changing, but I guess as long as both teams have it, it's fair, right?
Let's talk about baseball the rest of the way. We got a few home games left, 2 big series, one this week, one tonight. We got the Flying Squirrels in the house from Richmond. They're a San Francisco Giants affiliate. I love some of your pitchers' names this year, man. Joe Rock pitches on Saturday. It's a rock
Joe
night.
Rock.
But tonight we got the rough man, Mike Ruff, R-U-F-F. Tell me about this kid. Tell me about the team that we're playing this week and just how the Yardgoats are looking at the rest of the season.
Well, it's fun, Ben, to be in the mix because, last year in the first half they were in the mix and, they even though they had a rough road trip, they're right there basically with Binghamton coming in. So Richmond is in the playoff hunt in the Southwest Division and Hartford right now 4 games out behind Binghamton. But as you mentioned, Binghamton comes in for 7 games next week.
Nice.
So, they may have to win 6 of 7, or if you win 6 of 7, you win
Right.
all 7, and it's asking a lot. And they just got Acuna's little brother. It just got called up to Binghamton.
Oh,
Really?
really?
He's the Mets.
Mr. Guy we traded Scherzer for guy.
You got it. He just got called up. So he'll be at Duncan Park next week. And everyone's telling me that he is the real deal. So our pitchers are going to have
There
to
you go.
try to get him out. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Obviously, I think it's great for our younger kids to have a feel of a pennant race to see what it's like because
Right.
this is all projection for hopefully when they get to Denver. With the Rockies someday they have that shot.
Dooley, always great to have you on the program. Have a great call
Yeah.
tonight. I'll try to get over 70 miles an hour on my first pitch.
We'll be watching. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thanks.
Going to look at the track, man. I'm going to spin right around. It's the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell live from the Dunk. We'll be right back.
From the Jonathan